This is a story of the first printing press in the Balkans, a story of its basis as an integral part of Montenegro. Under the floody waters of Lake Skadar, there lies a submerged empire. The once rich Zeta, the state of the Nemaniches, Bašićes and Crnojevices, the land of highly developed society and cultural tradition. Far back in the second half of the 15th century, all the Balkan states fell under the Turkish rule. Only Žabljak, capital of the Crnojevices, and its master and proud warrior. But already in 1479, Ivan had to leave the capital, the fertile regions and the tame plain which supplied all needs. He moved the lay and spiritual center across Obod, to the mountain huts of Montenegro, to the stony wastes of the Cetinje plain under Lovćen. There he built a palace for himself and the residence of the Zeta metropolitan, the monastery of Cetinje. In this critical situation, when everything started to collapse, there developed not only a capital and a resistance center, but the cultural renaissance of the last Balkan state at the time of its downfall, an anomaly hitherto unknown in history. Here at Obod, Đurđe Crnojević set up a printing press, so that under the Turkish deluge, at least the church and the mental life of the people might be secured. That was the first printing press in South Slav lands and the first state press in history. It is known that the first master printer was priest Macaria of Montenegro. The presses were obtained in Venice, where Macaria learned his printer's skill. In his etching workshop, Macaria and his 8 pupils worked day and night, cutting and casting letters, composing forms, initials and figural illustrations. The date of its foundation has not been established, but it is certain that the press operated throughout 1493, only 28 years after the invention of printing, earlier than at Cambridge and Oxford, when printing was condemned as a heresy. The printing of the first book took the whole year and was finished early in 1494. It was an Octateuch, its first volume, the first Cyrillic printed book of the South Slav people. Octateuch contained pure examples of excellent Renaissance gravure. Here was the foundation stone of the Obod printing press, of which remained its first book, Octateuch, begun in 1493, finished on January the 4th, 1494. Soon the press was transferred from Obod to Cetinje, to the Crnojevica Foundation, where it continued its work. The second book was a Psalter, handmade at Cetinje by order of George, master of Montenegro, completed later on in the same year of 1494. 3 more books from this printing press are known to us. The second volume of Octateuch, are only illustrated incunabula, ritual, and the 4 Gospels. In his work, Macaria depended on the rich heritage of parchments from the period of Old Serbian and Byzantine manuscripts. The books from the Crnojevica press put Montenegro in a prominent place in the general history of culture and arts. In one of them, the following is said: "All who wish can richly enjoy this book. Whoever reads it, be he an emperor or a prince or a layman or a pauper or a victim of numerous plagues, will find every consolation. For this book is a teacher of purity, a changer of sorrow, a keeper of virginity, a teacher of life, a mover of every good." No book printed in Europe at the time or later can compare with the elegance of Macaria's letters and miniatures. When compared with other old printed books, they are technically the most beautifully done. They are a model of Cyrillic press. The naked figures of angels on little flags support the Crnojevica crest, a 2-headed eagle, which is found on the altar of the Cetinje monastery and on the seal of the Crnojevics. The forms of the initials, florally ornamented, are linked with ornaments on the colonnades and capitals built into the cloister of the Cetinje monastery from the palace of the Crnojevics. Graphic skill and designs in the Octateuch and Psalter are of the highest artistic quality and, like our only incunabula, are of immortal cultural and historic value. All the Crnojevica's books were printed in a short period, in less than 2 years. All traces of the press were lost since 1496. It probably suffered the same fate as that of the Njegoš press, whose letters were melted down into ammunition in defense of the country. The Crnojevicas disappeared, but the books of the Crnojevica press remain, and they were of decisive significance for the development of the culture of the South Slav peoples.